Absolutely. Let's get it. Drew Titan Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC, this Painful Excellence podcast. I am airing on both of my channels. I have three, but I'm airing on two right now. Just trying out some new things. We're not gonna be talking about boxing. If you're tuning in from my boxing channel, we're not gonna be talking about boxing this evening. Just save that for the morning. We're gonna talk about something a little more important. And first and foremost, thank you guys for holding it down while I was gone because I just needed some rest. So I said I had to shelf pep talk for about a week and some change, but I've been working. I'm a working man, I'm a family man, and I decided to I just rested up and now we back in this thing. So love the video, share the video, make it do what it do, and let's have a conversation. So I want to discuss the requirements of a community. I want to ask you guys, does the Black community have it? So let's do this roll call. Tay, salute to you. Queen. Corbin Phoenix in the building. Jimmy Bernard, what's going on? Todd Swindle. Reef, the Watcher, my brother. Black Gun Owners Magazine, salute. Rod Neal, Philip D in the building. Y'all must have forgot the Sensei Stormy B-Man. Derek Gaines, the legend, is in the building. Shogun 76, Jeff Spark, always supporting. My brother, what's good, man? Dragon Fang, Bill D. What's going on, family? Big brother in life. Smash the like button. Like I said, like and share video, man. Let's talk about it. Kinship, culture, community. That last word right there. Let's go through this. Kinship. Does anyone know what that means? Kinship. Kinship. Y'all tell me what that is? Kinship. Is that like family? I know what kinship is. Y'all know what that means? Kinship. Sergeant Dorsey, the queen that she is, I bought a shirt that she had that said all skin folk ain't kinfolk. So when you see that term kinship, I look at that word and I relate it to, family. Family. Not necessarily blood related, but could be your neighborhood, things of that nature. Kinship. Culture. Culture is your roots, how you was brought up. There's certain things that no matter where you are in the United States, Black Americans can relate, whether you're from New York, Chicago, Miami, San Diego, Los Angeles. There are certain things that Black folk always did because we all have roots. That's our culture. There's certain things, whether you have a Southern accent, a Midwest accent, a New York Upper East accent, there's certain things that Black people do. We all sit back and laugh at our parents because they all did similar things. Culture. Community. That goes without saying. We all know what community is. And I'm going to discuss the requirements of a community. But let me ask y'all a question. Wendell, salute. I miss you in the chat. Know that I love you. Let me ask y'all a question. In reference to the Black community, in reference to the requirements, because I'm going to go through them. Do you think we have that? Now, look at the words that are being held up in this picture. Eric Jordan, my brother, salute. I'm going to ask you, do we have that? Kinship, culture, community. Now, that last word, community. I was talking with one of my partners at the gym, and every time I see my brother, we always start talking about boxing, and then we get into politics and back to boxing, and we've been in the gym for an hour. You know what I mean? Pinball, salute. And he gave me some gems, right? And I said, man, I gotta cook on this, brother. I gotta, hen dog, salute. I gotta cook on this. I absolutely have to cook on this. That term community, the requirements of the community. We need an economic structure. We need a code of ethics. And we need political representation. Now, those three things that I gave you, let me ask you guys, because the majority of people in here, I'm assuming, are black. Do we have that? Do we have that? And be honest. If you think so, I want you to educate me. Seriously. Because when I looked at those 3 bullet points, that criteria, I'm like, man, we fall short. Do we have an economic structure? Night Train, salute. Seriously, do we have an economic structure? Black people are what? We're 13% of the population. How much money do we spend? If we're 13%, and correct me if I'm wrong on the numbers, I'm tired today. Okay, we're like 13 point something percent of the population in America. And we spend the most money. So I'm gonna ask you, do we have economic structure? Yes or no? Jewish community does. The Asian community does. The Latin community does. Do we? If we do, what is it? Enlighten me. Code of ethics. Do we have a code of ethics? I'm going to tell you right now, we don't. And this is the part why I lean on boxing. You see what we're going through online. We went through it with Wilder Fury. We're going through it right now with Haney and Ryan Garcia. We do not have a code of ethics. There's just certain things that we're not supposed to do to one another. If there was really a problem, if I offended somebody online, you would think they would email me. And we can have a chit chat behind the scenes. That hasn't happened. Instead, you Google, not even Google my name, put in my name in the YouTube search bar, and some amazing things come up. Put in LDBC in there, some amazing things will come up. So code of ethics, get out of here. We don't have that. $1 Trillion Dream, salute. And I agree with you. Now this last thing. Political representation. Do we have that? If so, who are these people? Point them out. Who's our political representation? Go ahead. Let me ask y'all a question, and I'm not trying to, I'm just gonna ask y'all a question. We had 8 years of Obama. What did he do for black people? I'm just asking y'all. I'm just asking. Because the question is political representation. These are things that we need. Did we have that? Because the first thing people will say, well, wasn't Obama president? Yeah. He was the American president. He sure was. He didn't do a bad job. No. In fact, Obama was fighting against the grain for 8 years because everything he tried to do, he was fighting the House. That's true. But the question is, did we have political representation as black people? Who was our political representation? Because he was the American president. So what I'm saying is, don't lean on Obama. Don't do that. But who's our political representation? Who? Pick anybody. King Consciousness. Him? Who? KG in the building. Young Abel, salute. Who? Who is it? Kevin Samuels, before he passed, he never claimed to be a leader. He was just a voice. That's all. We're talking about political representation. Who are our political leaders? I got nothing. I got nothing. I got nothing. So if you're just pulling up, the question is, the requirements of a community. I just gave it to you. Economic structure, code of ethics, and political representation. We don't have that as a black community. We're 13% of the United States population, yet we spend the most. And what do we spend it on? Materialistic items, clothing, hair, nails. Guys, what up? PGH, what's good? We spend the most. We ain't got anything to show for it. We don't. The communities we do have, because they are black communities. What do they look like, though? Tell me what they look like. And I know what they tried to do to black communities. I know. They pumped drugs in the communities. They sure did. But we know the play now. We've been through the play. And let me say this, man. Do y'all know hip hop has a meaning? And I've said this before. Put yes or no if you know the true definition of hip hop. Our culture, right? Do y'all know what it means? If you don't know, it's okay, because I'm going to explain it. Do y'all know the true definition of hip hop? Because there's a definition. True definition. Do you know? Just put yes or no. I'm going to explain it anyway. The true definition of hip hop. The term hip. The term hip means to be aware. In the hood, we used to say, yo, I'm up on that. I'm up on that. You ever heard the term, I'm hip to that game plan? That's where it comes from, hip. Aware. I'm aware of that. I'm hip. Oh yeah? No black person has access to these countries where they're flying drugs in. Well, one mofo got access to it. They made a movie about it, but that was one person. Right? So the drugs are getting in our community. And the government was like, man, these Negroes, they're going to do themselves in. All we got to do is put guns and drugs in there, and they'll do the work for us. And some of these Negroes were doing the work for them. But there was some few that said, there was a select few that said, I see what's going on here. I'm hip to that. I'm hip to that. Now I'm going to move in another direction. I'm going to do something else, though. That's hop. Hop is a movement. So hip means to be aware of the play. Hop is to move in another direction. When hip hop was created in the Bronx, my borough, go listen to The Message by my brother, Grandmaster Melly Mel, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. They were talking about the cards that were dealt growing up in the South Bronx. Don't push me because I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep them going under. You're aware, and with everything against you, you're still walking that straight line. Because you love your community, you love your culture, and you believe in kinship. That's what hip hop is. Understanding what's trying to be done to you and moving in another direction. So we're 50 years up. The rappers from back then laid the foundation. They were community leaders that understood that, tried to educate. We did it through rallies. We did it through music. I remember the 90s. We had groups like Public Enemy, KRS-One, X-Clan, Lakem Shabazz. They weren't saying kill Whitey. They were saying be aware of what Whitey was doing. And now that you know it, now that we've properly armed you with knowledge of self, you can move in another direction, a more positive direction. And then what happened? NWA. We got a story to tell. We're getting brutalized by police in the West Coast. Never seen anything like it. And while they were sharing their story, they were also selling records with the violence. And what did Russell Simmons do? If you get a message, we got to rival that to make some sales. Enter Onyx. Now, I was a kid when, not a kid, I was in high school when Onyx came out. Okay? And I understood entertainment. But then there were a select few kids that took that to heart. There was kids my age running around shaving their heads and acting out in the street. And it offset what we were trying to do, what we were trying to accomplish. You understand what I'm saying to y'all? So hip hop is a culture. But we had some foul things going on in there. And once you throw business behind it, it becomes a money-making machine, and it's completely lost its way. Completely lost its way. 704, what up? So when you say, who are we as a community? The answer is, I know what we're supposed to be, but it's hard for us to move forward when we have distractions in the ranks. So we know what we need in the community. If y'all didn't know, to have a community, you need an economic structure, you need a code of ethics, you need political representation. We don't have any of that. We don't have any of that. And what I want to do is I'm going to, let me move this. I'm going to play I'm gonna play this. I don't know how. I know some of you may remember. I know Philip D. Gonna know Stormy. Well, saying Night Train or No D. I remember the Phil Donahue show. I'm gonna play this. They had, and I remember watching this. This was back in. I was in high school when this aired. This was like '92. Yep, it says right there, 1992. A Crisis in Black and White. I remember Sister Soldier was on the panel, but I want y'all to hear this brother in particular. Matter of fact, one of the candidates that's running for president is on this panel, Dr. Cornel West. All right, but I want you to listen. This isn't Dr. Cornel West speaking. I believe this is Claude Anderson, Dr. Claude Anderson. I need you to listen. I need you to listen. All right. So I'm gonna call fair use on this. And I need you guys to pay close attention. Pay close attention.
Well, Tony Brown
Tony Brown. I said Dr. Claude Anderson. My bad. That's Tony Brown. I'm sorry. Fair use.
talk show hosts, you've been unusually well behaved throughout this program, and I thank you for your patience. Do I sound like a...
We learned on December the...
What the hell? Okay. It jumped on me. I'm sorry. Hold on.
Unusually well behaved throughout this program, and I thank you for your patience. Do I sound like a white racist to say, see what I mean? You can pull yourselves up by your bootstraps. Does that make you nervous if I say something like that?
No, but the context would make me nervous if you were suggesting, and you're not, that all blacks had to do was to go to work. And if they worked as hard as whites, we could make it. But that's not.
I need y'all to pay attention. This is very important. Because what happens with black people is that people put this coat on us that we're just complaining and it's empty. And that is not the case. We don't have the same opportunities that other people have. That's just the long and short of it. I just saw a video of a young black kid walking in this neighborhood, and like 4 white guys, grown men, are following this dude. Right? He's a teenager. And he did the right thing. He went live and he recorded the whole thing. And one of the dudes, Prince, what up? I don't know Hassan personally, but I know who he is. I know who Hassan Campbell is. I mean, you know. One of those men pulled a gun on him, and guess what? Guess what man pulled the gun on him? Come to find out, that dude that pulled the gun on him was a British businessman he was from the UK, and he's here on like a work visa, working with some company. He got fired. But these dudes was on his bumper, man. Ridiculous stuff. So these are things we're dealing with in 2024. Now, this was 1992. I need you to listen to Tom Brown. Listen to what he says, y'all.
Not the context in which you're saying it. The context in which you're saying it is that we are looking at a group of people, 30 million people, who this year will earn $300 billion, equal to the 14th richest nation in the world. We're 12% of the population. We buy 18% of the orange juice, 20% of the rice, 26% of Cadillac cars, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
You hear that? What did I just say earlier? Now, back then they said 12%. Now we're 13%. This is a long time ago. So we came up 1%. But he's talking about our spending habits. What did I just say earlier? But let's go ahead.
We have 350 black organizations, middle-class blacks, 1 million of which go to white hotels each summer. They spend $16 billion discussing white racism and black poverty. Now, there's no way in the world that white people can free black people, because freedom is not white people's to give. 2, white people, as I said in the piece, cannot do for us what we refuse to do for ourselves. 3, the key to this equation is the behavior of the black middle class. The key to this is not understanding whether or not whites like blacks or blacks like whites. I frankly have no interest in that at all. I have no interest in managed society. I'm not interested in having to sit next to people because they're white. I'm interested in being equal. And the only way you're equal is to have power. Alan Keyes said the most cogent thing said here tonight. And that is, we are talking about power, not whether or not white people have been fair, not whether they're nice people, not whether or not black people are good or bad, but whether or not you as a community of people have the instruments of defense and in some cases of aggression to protect your turf and or your interests. You can't have 30 million people handing over to another people 100% of their resources and blaming them for 100% of their problems. That is not intelligent. So what we need to do in the black community.
Did y'all catch that? I'll bring it back for you. Did y'all catch that? Did you catch that? Listen again.
White racism and black poverty. Now, there's no way in the world that white people can free black people, because freedom is not white people's to give. 2, white people, as I said in the piece, cannot do for us what we refuse to do for ourselves. 3, the key to this equation is the behavior of the black middle class. The key to this is not understanding whether or not whites like blacks or blacks like whites. I frankly have no interest in that at all. I have no interest in managed society. I'm not interested in having to sit next to people because they're white. I'm interested in being equal. And the only way you're equal is to have power. Alan Keyes said the most cogent thing said here tonight. And that is, we are talking about power, not whether or not white people have been fair, not whether they're nice people, not whether or not black people are good or bad, but whether or not you as a community of people have the instruments of defense and in some cases of aggression to protect your turf and or your interests. You can't have 30 million people handing over to another people 100% of their resources and blaming them for 100% of their problems. That is not intelligent. So what we need to do in the black community is decide to be competitive. And the only way we're going to be competitive is to use our resources. And the final thing I'd like to say is this: the primary resource we have as a people is not our money. It's what we know. And what you know is called human capital. And the fleet of human capital from the black community has been enormous in the name of integration. We've lost our brains to the white community, and nobody is there for the intergenerational transfer of information from middle class people to poor people. So we now have what we call so-called underclass people.
But if what
is this registering? Is any of this registering? This was 1992. This brother was out. I remember coming home from school, and I think I watched this with my brother, and I wasn't the same person I was. I was listening to Onyx. Onyx came out a year later though, but I was like knee deep into hip hop, and I just sat down. I was watching this, and I was like, damn. So when I found this on YouTube, I was like, whoa. And Shelton, what up? DP, what up? It hits a little harder now, doesn't it? To me, it does. Because here we are, 1% of the population up. It was 12%, now we're 13%, and we've gotten worse. We've gotten worse. And you heard what I just said about what we go through, the LDBC goes through online about this. You know, the resistance that we get is from who? See what I mean? What he's talking about is each one teaching one. To put it very simple, each one teaching one. That's what he's talking about. The middle class have a responsibility. This was 1992 he's saying this. Detroit, what up? 1992 he was saying this. So why are we we've hustled backwards. Things have gotten progressively worse. The black family has gone down. There's more baby mamas and baby daddies than there are husbands and wives. You have an increase of women talking about, I could do this by myself. I don't need no man. Until that little boy that they're raising turns into an adult and wants to do his own thing and not listen to his mama. Do y'all know that's what Boys in the Hood was about? Did y'all know that? Furious Styles, played by Lawrence Fishburne, made Trey with his mama. Trey was like a troubled kid in school, getting into fights and stuff. And then when she said, I can't do this anymore, he needs his dad. That's what it was about. Come get him. I can't do this. And he went and got his son. And while he was cracking the whip on Trey, what happened to Ice Cube, Doughboy, and all his friends? One was in a wheelchair selling drugs. Q went to jail and came out, and but he was in school and he was a little better off because why? His father was there. That's what Boys in the Hood was about. I remember going to see that in the movies. I went to go see it another time. My older brother went to the movies to see it. He said, man, and he said this back in the day. He said, man, I don't know about us, I said, what you mean? He said, the black community, man, I don't know about this. And I said, why? He said, man, he went with his boy to go see Boys in the Hood, right? And you're seeing the film for what it is, but there was a handful of cats that went in there and thought it was going to be some bang bang shoot 'em up. And the only bang bang shoot 'em up scenes that happened was when Morris Chestnut, when his character was shot and murdered. That was so sad because he was actually trying to go pro and he got shot and killed over nonsense. But my brother said, you know what killed me? He said when they caught up to them in the street and they were trying to run and they mowed them down, he said the theater erupted. Yeah, yeah. And he was like, why are they clapping? I was about 3 or 4 more black men dead in the street. That was the message. It doesn't end. That was the message. But he said he was in the theater with a bunch of animals. Listen to the music when they're getting shot. It was supposed to be a sad scene. It was like, yo. And then when I went to go see it, I said, oh, this is the scene right here. Now, when I went to go see it, it wasn't as rowdy, but still. I listened to the music. I said, this ain't supposed to be some revenge scene. And it was sad music because there was more black youth dead over nonsense. But he's in the theater. My brother's in the theater with a bunch of animals. They were waiting for something. They just disregarded the whole movie. Why Trey went with his father. Why Trey wasn't in the street like that. Why he survived. And not for nothing at the very end of the movie when Ice Cube walks off talking about, I ain't got no brother. You know, but yeah, we good. He walked off and he faded off. And it said 2 days later, Doughboy was killed in the street. And it made me think, damn. The mother lost 2 sons. One was in the street, one was not. To violence. Ain't no white person did that. The story of Boys in the Hood was tragic. Tragic. But what was scary was that our own community that went and supported that movie didn't recognize what the story was really supposed to be. They didn't recognize what it meant. And that was the sad part. Okay? Makes you think, right? Do y'all understand why I ignore so much? Do y'all understand why I ignore so much? There's a bigger picture. I understand where it comes from. A lot of these guys that hate on us, they have no fathers. They can't see another black man out here shining. They have a deep-rooted hatred for themselves. I talk about it daily. The general talks about it daily. BFTB talks about it. And it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, man. And man, all I think about is a community. And I'm like, yo, man, let me just take the high road now. We're human and there's only so much we can take. So we clap back sometimes. But Sergeant Dorsey, she said, all skin folk ain't kin folk. I said, Queen, let me buy that shirt off for you. And I might wear it to the gym tomorrow. So when I ask the requirements of the community, we don't have it. We don't have a community. And these same dudes that attack us, and every time I see that Boys in the Hood scene, I'm like, man, it's crazy. I seen someone mention Menace to Society. Tragic story. These are tragic stories. And The illest hate we get online is from people, you know, my people, these people, they look like us. You know, the George Floyd situation. How many videos did they do about that? Probably none. But go to their page and put my name in the search engine. See how many videos pop up. Put the LDBC's name in the search engine. See how many videos pop up. So when I say requirements of the community, do you know what it is? Matter of fact, let me put it up here. Oops. Economic. I can't spell. Structure. Code of ethics. Political. Something wrong with my damn keyboard. Representation. Does the Black community have this? And there you go. And salute to y'all in the chat. Now I'm gonna go back to what Tom Brown was talking about. Fair use.
What you know is that critically important, and I don't know anybody who will argue it. How is it possible, in the light of Mr. Kozol's nightmarish and brutally honest and well-researched review of the horror story of public education, especially in the inner cities, for Black children to know anything?
White power structure and the white community in America are out of options. They can no longer afford racism, and they can no longer afford school systems that don't work for this following reason. In 8 years, over 50% of the population workforce will be female and non-white. In 30 years, this...
What did he say? What did he say? Listen to this. This is 1992, y'all.
Systems that don't work for this following reason. In 8 years, over 50% of the population workforce will be female and non-white. In 30...
Is he lying? Do we not have women running around talking about I don't need no man? Didn't I just say that? This is 1992. He says this on the Phil Donahue show. Was he lying? We're broken down, and bro. He called it. And I'm gonna tell you what they did. I'm gonna let him cook, but I'm gonna tell you what they did right in our face because of this. Watch this.
30 years, this will be a majority numerically non-white nation. If we do not train women and non-whites to go into the workforce for high-tech skill jobs in the next 8 years, none of us in this room is going to have a job at all. So Mr. Kozol, there's another dimension to what he is saying, and I'm sure he's more than aware of it. And that is, it is not Black schools that have failed. The American school system has failed. It is not the ones who drop out that are the problem. The ones who graduate are the problem. We do not have a school system that does anything for post-secondary education, and we don't have a school system that does anything for the bottom 50%, which is why Germany and Japan are beating our brains out.
Okay. That was 1992. We're in 2024 now. How many people do you know? Maybe you in the chat. How many people do you know have degrees and they don't use them? They got a degree in fixing battleships and they're like a manager at a Walmart somewhere. They can't find work in their field. I know a few people. They got degrees, but they got hired by the state or the city and like, yeah, you know what? This is good enough. You know, I'm gonna work here, make $95,000 a year, top pay. That's all I need. I'm gonna do my 20, 25 years and ride off into the sunset. He said non-black and women. But you're getting these degrees, and these degrees ain't worth a damn. And what happens when you graduate? They said women are kicking men's asses. We're the most educated. We're in school the most. No, you're the most enrolled. When you get out of college, you also have a 6-figure debt. You got your doctorate. Hopefully you get in a line of work where you could pay that back. Because people be paying student loans back for 10 years. More than that. And I'm going to tell you something else. Eric Jordan, that super chat, he says, bro, spit nothing but them facts. He's on the job. Tom Brown is on that job. Now, let me say this, man. He talked about educating. And he talked about the education system. He says America's educational system has failed. What he meant was we're in school getting these degrees and not getting in our line of we're getting degrees that we may make money individually, but how does it stimulate the economy? If y'all understand what I'm saying. I may be wording it kind of off, but you get my point. You get a degree in basket weaving. Nice. And how is that going to help infrastructure? And how's basket weaving going to create more jobs? I mean, what is that? I know people that have a GED and they struggle to get that, but you know what they did? They got a trade. Plumbing, electricians, and they're making a strong 6 figures. Blue collar working guys and women, by the way. Understand? I'm gonna tell you something interesting. It happened right in our face and we're not paying attention. You ready for this? I was watching a short today on TikTok. Sometimes they pop up on YouTube now. Listen to this sister talk about how she says, you know, look, the school system, we're done. It's over. She's a substitute teacher. She says she likes teaching at the worst neighborhoods. I don't know why you're doing that. You know, you're trying to give back, I guess. Her idea, now watch this. She says the kids are disrespectful. They just come to school to hang out with friends. They're disrespectful to the teachers. They not learning anything. Try and reach out to the parents. The parents are saying, well, what can you do? I'm at work. You can't discipline them. What are you going to do? Discipline them? She was talking about how she tries to slam the book down to scare the class. Before that used to shock us. Oh, okay, I guess the teacher ain't effing around now. But at the end of the year, usually you try and buckle down because you don't want to get left behind. You know, so after Christmas or whatever, you're like, all right, leading into Easter, I gotta buckle down because now the teacher gonna start giving it back to us. You done goofed around from September to Christmas. Now the weather's getting nice outside. You better study because I'll fail your ass. And that used to bother us. Pinball, you saw what I'm talking about? Right. So then none of that old school stuff is working, and the parents don't care. Well, the single mama don't care because that's usually what it is. I'm just calling it how it is. And her ideology is we need more black men to come teach the schools. Question, whether it's a black woman or a black man, first of all, why are you calling us out? Why should we have to get involved in that? If you can be a single mom by yourself, why? And I'm not saying this woman was, but I'm just dealing with the thought process. If you could be a single mom by yourself, why can't you go to work and deal with these kids by yourself? You don't need us to do that. Getting more black men in there What are we going to do? Start fighting? No. Black men are restricted just like you are, my sister. So that's not the answer. The answer is the system itself. What Tom Brown said. The answer is the system itself. American history, fine. Whatever history, fine. Mathematics, a must. But when you get to a certain point, you have to look at the landscape of what builds the country. And I feel you should start teaching these kids like from 6th grade. Look, this is what makes the world tick. This is what makes our economy thrive. Electrician, plumber, construction, architecture. Thank you, Shower. Science, tech. Clarence McLean, my brother, what up? You can be an electrician. Now watch this. Kids, think of a building. Little Johnny right here, he's not the biggest kid in the world, but he's smart. Architect. Julia over there, architect. Tommy over there, he's a whiz at that math. Teach him how to balance books. The kid running around with the football out there, he's, if the NFL don't work out for him, maybe he can excel in construction. So you got an electrician, an architect, a construction worker, a plumber. These things, J-Man, salute. These things is what help the economy. We need more of that. We need scientists. Things like that. And give them those options. Not going to college and get a liberal arts degree to do what? And now you're in debt. But let's roll it back. Let's roll it all the way back. These kids, going back to the sister that was saying her answer was, yeah, right. And this is 92, y'all. Computer engineers, that's a whole nother thing. Right? That's a whole other thing. Now watch this. The sister was talking about getting men more involved in the educational system. That's not the answer. The kids ain't gonna listen to you, they ain't gonna listen to us. But you know what's happening? Less teachers are caring. Less kids are going to schools, and I'm just using this number as an example. Every year in a school, let's say you're supposed to have maybe 800 to 1,000 children graduating, right? And every year since 1992, every 5 years it's dropped. So where you used to have 1,000 kids, ATL, unanimous boxing, my brother, every year, every 5 years, it went from 1,000 to 900 to 800. And now on average, fast forward to 2024, those kids now, or kids, for those of you that are grandparents by now, the graduation is down to half. And you know what the government does? They said, hey, man, this school right here in the inner city, because trust me, in those other communities where they pay top dollar, they got their kids in check. But the inner city, nope. And you know what happens? They say, man, this school ain't turning over nothing. Close the school, right? Close the school. And we're just going to throw the migrants in there.
Whoa! What?
All the parents that want their kids to go to school, if the kids want to go to school themselves, we're going to see. Because now they got to go outside their district. Now, instead of walking up the block to the school or just walking 2 blocks or hopping on one bus to go to school, now they got to take 2 buses to go to school. And if they value their education, they'll do that over there. And when we put those handful of kids that want to do something and integrate them with the kids that are already doing something, they can't influence the kid with the bad behavior because these are the kids that want to do something. The bad kids, they're going to be out on the street. And we're going to let the law deal with them because that's where they're headed anyway. Do you know that every kid that doesn't graduate or gets left back, was not registered in school for whatever, let's just say that's taken note of, and somehow that number the prison system knows that number. They're anticipating that person eventually coming to pay them a visit for about 3 to 5. And I'll just say that. This system is very, very high tech. People just walking around existing in it like, hey, it's just another day. No, it's not. They account for everything. Your kid not in school, prison systems anticipate, okay, this year, judging off of the school dropout rate and this school closing, and now these kids, you got these kids going here, but where the rest of the kids? Those 5,000 kids in that school, and 250 went there, the other 250 went there. Where's the rest of them? They're dropouts? Yeah, let the prison system know, because potentially they might be paying us a visit. We might have to make room. Enter private prisons. Is any of this making sense? Let me go back to Tom Brown.
Regardless of the color of the student.
Regardless. Now, when you get to blacks, we cannot leave out of this equation.
Yes.
The black middle class. And we cannot leave out of this equation, no matter what the government does, and the government should do something.
Right.
We cannot leave out the obligation of the black middle class to transfer its wealth, primary wealth, which is human capital or information, to those in our community who don't have it.
Yes. May I ask you're a capitalist with a...
I am not a capitalist, and you said that before. I'm not interested in proving capitalism. I'm interested in using a free market system to alleviate the problems in the black community.
Is capitalist a bad word?
Well, if the way you're using it is though I am trying to prove that this system is better than that system.
No,
I'm not into ideology. You can call me anything you want.
You're a businessman who takes full advantage of the free market opportunities. Let me put it that way.
I'm trying to pay my rent and keep the phone.
Very good.
Now, I don't know what you call that. Whatever you call that, that's what I do.
Right.
Now, okay, so I am simply interested in this. There are 30 million of us. We earn $300 billion. We spend 6.6% of our money with one another, 95% with other people. I'm simply interested in creating structures so we can transfer that money back. And most of all, not to any black person in this room, but to poor black people, because the difference in the achievement of our community will not come from middle-class blacks like us who have done so well under affirmative action. Poor blacks didn't get a nickel. They're the ones who are hurting, which is why the black community is in such dire difficulty.
Is this making sense? Y'all understand? You know what he said? If he was talking too fast for y'all, I'm going to make it so simple. What he described was Chinatown. What he described was Little Italy, Little Tokyo, Little Korea, Amsterdam Avenue up here in Manhattan, Dominican land. I call it Dominican land. It's a Dominican neighborhood. 125th in Amsterdam, all the way up there. Spanish Harlem, Brooklyn, the Jewish neighborhoods. That's what he described. Did you know the Jewish dollar rotates from hand to hand about 8 times before it leaves the community? The black community, 1 time. One time. We can't wait to spend money as soon as we get it. Why is there a Chinese neighborhood there's a Chinese restaurant in every black neighborhood in America? Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. There's a Chinese restaurant. There's a bodega owned by Arabs or Asians, right? Now there's a hair salon owned by some Latinas. There's a liquor store owned by some Asians or some European white, right? In our neighborhoods. What else? Forgetting some. Oh, now there's chicken spots. Kennedy Fried, Mama's Fried, Louisiana Fried. And who do you see behind the counter serving you? An Indian. There's Dunkin' Donuts franchises erected everywhere. Who do I normally see behind there? There's normally some Indians back there. My brother Clarence says, bruh, in Harlem, it makes me sick. Same surroundings. Yeah, listen. You know what we need to be sick with? Ourselves. He just ran down how much money we spend. 13% of the population, we spend the most money. We don't own a damn thing. So when I talk about economic structure, do we have that? There is none. I don't know how many of y'all are business owners in here, but I've tried to start several businesses in the past. When the internet started popping, I tried there too. But I was always trying to think and do something. The first people I went to were close friends of mine. And what do you think happened? Well, I'm online right now. I said, listen, I saw this thing and maybe if we could do this and that, we could see what happens. Nah. Okay. I've actually had more success with strangers in joint business ventures than people I knew, family and friends. And, I'm not knocking them. We have a mindset. What this nigga up to? What this nigga trying to do? What you trying to do? What you trying to scam me? God damn. We spend so much money, we can corner every market that you could think of. But we go for self all the time. All the time. You see it right here. What they accuse of there? How many times you heard, oh, I think the LDBC is about making money. Ain't nobody rich off this. The only dude in the LDBC that I know about that sees substantial money is Blue Blood. How does him making money help me? You know how Blue Blood helped me? Giving me sound advice. He could charge me for that, but that's my friend. But his success is his success. But his success, if he can tell me things which he has that's helped me a great deal, which it has, I'm cool. But why do you think most people are out here talking about, I'm self-made, I don't need nobody? Yeah, nigga. I doubt that there's Latino channels out there doing that. I doubt that there's white channels out here doing that. I doubt that. I doubt that there's Asians out there. I doubt that. That's only certain things that ignorant, insecure, and jealous niggas say. And it's disgusting. So when I talk about the requirements of a community, when I talk about economic structure, just look at how people do us on YouTube. And then ask yourself, do we have a community? The Lions Den boxing community, we have that. And, you know, people have come and they've left, and they're in, they're out, they're in, they're out. And when it's not what they thought it was, you know what it was? I'm going to tell you what it was. They thought, I'm going to buddy up with them and I'm going to make like a few grand a month. No, you're not in here you're not putting in work. It's not working out like you, and you're too busy running around wondering what we're doing. I'll give you an example, and I don't care. I'll say his name. This is what I'm saying. There's a lot y'all don't know. The times that I did have a conversation with KQKC, money came up every time. Every time money came up. How much am I making a month? And I told him. But I said, but listen, I'm not talking about that. There's a problem here. And, you know, there's people trying to buddy up to you to try and get you off your square because they mad with us. I need you to be aware of this guy. I need you to be aware of that. And then, nah, they ain't bothering me. But you know, how many videos you got to put up to get views to get this amount? I'm like, bro, are you listening to me? Because I don't want you getting into trouble by having these people around, and I'm telling you that these people are bad news, and got all these people running around in your chat that is giving us death threats, and you know, they in there with a wrench, bro. I'm just letting you know. Oh, they never did that to me. I'm like, okay. And then he's back to asking how much I make a month. If you was making whatever you was making, don't know why you didn't have your own money to buy your own laptop, why you had to go bother BFTB for that shit. I don't know. But community, right? Because what did BFTB do? He bought him that shit, did he not? That's what he did. That's what he did. And what did he do in return? The spear right in the back. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of things that's not for your ears to hear. But when I tell you there was a lot going on behind the scenes, that thing with him didn't just happen. That was going on for like a year and some change, bro. And we let him slide mad times. And then that last part he did, that was it. It's like, nah, I can't. I had to call the general and say, bro, I can't do this, man. He said, no, he's done. But this is all relevant to what I'm saying. The requirements of a community. We don't have that. There is no economic structure. There is no economic structure. We don't have that. And basically what I'm also talking about, 15% of y'all said the black community has this thing, and 85 says no. Who's the 15% that says yes? I'd love to hear what you have to say about that. Economic structure, we don't have it. Code of ethics, what I was just telling you. There's a code of ethics with us in the Lions Den boxing community. That's why a lot of people get with us and they can't stay around because of how they are. So they remove themselves. Now, some cats remove themselves and they got to talk, and fine, man. I ain't got to get into all of that. But good luck on your own. You'll do fine. And how do they normally do fine? 300 videos about us. If that's what you want your channel to be, cool. I don't have to respond to everything. I really don't. Some I do. Most I don't. But do we have a code of ethics? Forget LDBC. I just use that as an example because what we go through here in the community is a direct reflection of the Black community as a whole. Do we have a code of ethics? Should I be online being bombarded by trolls, calling me out my name, trying to find out my government and what I do for a living and where I live and what I do at my job? Is it that serious? What do you get out of that? There's no code of ethics because these niggas ain't about anything. They're not. True or false? We can be so much powerful if we was on one accord. You ain't gotta be, LDBC or not. You don't have to be with us. But again, let's leave the boxing thing out of it. 13% of us, and we're spending the most money. If we redirected our buying power and circulated our money amongst ourselves, we'd have entire communities. They'd be 1,000 buckheads all over the United States. Y'all know Buckhead in Atlanta? There'd be 1,000 of them, probably more, like 5,000 of them in every state, spread out. This is a wealthy Black neighborhood or a middle-class Black neighborhood where we pay top dollar, where we pay high taxes because we can afford to. When law enforcement come in here, we get to tell the cops, yo, man, I pay your salary. I pay your salary. My tax money pays your salary. You ain't gonna come in here and talk all crazy. I contribute to your department a lot of money on top of my tax dollars. I'll have your job. You do what I say. And they have to bow to the almighty dollar. But we ain't got that. We ain't got that. Exactly, Brief. Exactly, Shara. All we got to do is redirect our buying power. All we got to do is redirect our buying power. We can't even do that because we think everybody's out to get us. So we have no economic structure. We have no code of ethics. And political representation, still waiting. The 15%, let me look at it again. The 15% of people that said thank you, Ricky. Salute to Ricky Williams in the building. Salute to Spurger Marshall. I see you. The 15% of you that said that there is economic structure, code of ethics, and political representation, please make yourself known and let me know who these people are. I'm gonna put the same thing up on oh, god damn it. I mean, let me know. Absolutely, Ricky. A community requires sacrifice and support. When you become a part of a community, you're sacrificing your selfishness. You're not being selfish anymore. You're not running around saying, I can do it by myself. I don't need nobody. You got to become selfless. We know you can do it by yourself. We know you don't need anybody. But watch this. Maybe you should pump your brakes and help your brother and sister come up so that they're just as strong and tough as you. So if you don't need anybody, you can do it by yourself, and you bring up 3 people to do the same thing, and they bring up another 3, bring up another 3. You have a strong community of strong-minded people on one accord. One accord. And everyone says, oh, well, I'm a free thinker. Well, how's that working out for you? How's that working out for you? All you free thinkers. gonna go back to the LDBC thing. All of these people that allegedly stopped effing with us, and I'm a free thinker and I don't need anybody. Do we make diss videos about y'all? No. Y'all go ahead and start free thinking, and you know what you do? For all year long, you start sneak dissing and putting up posts, dissing people that are with us, and those be your highest viewed posts and videos when you're talking about us, but you're a free thinker. So whatever your boxing channel is, if you're a free thinker, just do your damn content and keep our name out your mouth. That's not free thinking. You're the salty girl that got stuck up on prom night. And guess what? That is the most unmasculine thing, non-masculine thing that I've ever seen. Whenever I broke up with a girl, outside of my close friends, I didn't talk about her. Because I didn't want to say something in earshot of someone that was either be a dude that was scheming on her the whole time, trying to put my dick in the dirt to make himself look better, or a girl that knew her or knew someone and they just like that shit. Once you're done, you're done. I ain't got to say anything about you or to anyone you know. I ain't got to talk. I'm done. But you know what happened when I broke up with a chick? 100%. Something always got back to me. Yo, you know what she said about you? Don't care. Don't care. I don't care. I left her for my reasons. Now, it's God talk when you're amongst your boys, but I left her. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do this. I'm done. But she's not, and she's in her feelings. That's how I see these dudes. Video after video after video. It is the most feminine thing. It's comical. And then going back and forth. I don't have to do that. For what? These men are in their 40s doing that. They say they don't need anybody, but don't they always find each other and end up on each other's panels? And it's like, wait a minute. This guy was the enemy a second ago, and now you're done with us, and now that's your friend. The enemy of my enemy is a friend. I thought you didn't need anybody. I thought you was a free thinker. And now you're on a panel having this big old rah, 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 how we hate the LDBC. Hey, man, knock yourself out. Because while you're doing that, I'm talking boxing. While you're doing that, I'm talking pep talk, or I'm talking bear cave that I haven't done in forever. But I'll be back on it. Tough Glove Boxing says the black community does not trust each other anymore. Rather do business with everyone else. On the other side of it, we don't offer the same quality of service to each other we offer others. Well, before you pulled up, brother, I was just saying something along those lines. We don't trust each other. We always think that we're trying to snake one another. I just said that like 5 minutes ago. I just said that. And as far as quality and service is concerned, I know black business owners, and they say the biggest sticklers that they get is from their own people. Okay, I'm gonna buy this product from you now, but what happens if it don't work? Whereas the white folk come in there, yeah, I'm gonna buy this product. Yeah, I'll pay for the warranty. Okay, and that's it. But it's like we think we have a different rapport with one another. I can come in there, and when no one's looking, yo, what up, my nigga? You know what I'm saying? If this don't work, yeah, I'm saying, yo, what happened? Yo, can you give me a discount? Come on, brother. That type of thing. Your brother owns a clothing store. $30 for a Yankee fitted? Come on, brother. You can't give it to me for $20. Always looking for discounts. Instead, you should be going there, yo, 30? I'll give you 35, man. Keep the change, man. I want to see you succeed. Exactly, Tay-Tay. For real. For real. These same dudes, they don't go inside the white store, the Chinese store. And as a matter of fact, you go inside that Asian store, you get followed around. You buy, you buy, you buy. You not buy, you leave. Getting treated like that. And your dumbass will buy something before you leave. All right, auntie, damn. Slow down. I'm buying. I'm leaving. Damn. But you won't go to your brother's store that sells the same hat for the same price. You don't ask for no discount while you're getting harassed because you're black, but you won't go to your brother or sister's store where you won't get harassed. And guess what? You'll rip them off first. Economic structure. Do we have that? Code of ethics. Do we have that? Political representation. Do we have that? Oh, yeah, Shawa. Oh, yeah. Political representation. Do we have that? The answer is no. We have no leaders. There is no code of ethics. And we have no economic structure, which is exactly why they go up in Chicago and close down all of those schools in the black neighborhoods and put migrants in there. That's why. Because if we rotated our dollar amongst ourselves and built up our community, those schools, and we had the children under control, and there were more mothers and fathers and less baby mamas and baby daddies, so the kids will be less likely to act up in school. The government couldn't just come in and say, we closing the school to put migrants in. No. We got a 99.5% graduation ratio every year. There's no school shootings. There's school shootings. There's no school shootings here. The bullying is down. The turnover ratio is high. To close this school to put migrants in it will be a crime. They won't even look at that. But when you got single moms, and I told y'all to play, Kevin Samuels told you to play, everyone told you to play. When the black woman chose Uncle Sam over having a man in the house. And then when you hear these sisters online talk about why that was a good move, why? Because grandma was getting beat. How do you know that? Oh, grandpa had other wives. How do you know that? You weren't there. And guess what? Even if he did, had a mistress over there, you know what? You know what was going on in certain cases? He had a wife at home, is fooled around with Ethel up the block. She kept the baby, wife kept the baby, and guess what? They raised them. When those kids came of age, they're in one yard and they're in the other yard. You know why? Because grandpa went to work every day and he was a good man. Kept it in the house. Things like that would happen. Women always outnumbered men. And guess what? Sometimes at that time, that a kind of black man like that was of these. They were hard to come, not hard to come by, but when you came by one, you kept it. Don't act like listen, man. Maybe this is another show, but these were one of the things that was brought up as to why women chose Uncle Sam. But those same women, I'm like, yo, some of y'all celebrate being the side chick right now. Y'all are cool with it. So don't tell me about great grandma. Don't tell me about great grandma. That's right. Great grandma was married to your great grandpa, and he had another lady that he impregnated, and she has some kids, and now you're in that bloodline. It's just what it is. But some of you chicks are acting like y'all not side chicks right now. What I'm saying is, and I'm not even saying that's a bad thing. What I'm saying is it's been happening. And now, right now, with the economy looking the way it is, because we didn't take care of business, like Tom Brown said, the poly way might be a way of life, because the cost of living is so messed up. Everybody's going to be living like the Golden Girls, or you're going to have a man that works and his wife's going to work and the other wife is going to work. But you know what happens? You pay off bills faster. You can pay a mortgage off faster. If there's children involved, you ain't got to worry about their education as much. You see, I'm telling y'all, look past the sexual gratification part. Never mind that. We're trying to live. And living comfortably might be a situation where you're going to have more than one person living in the house, more than two people. Might be 3 or 4 people. You don't know. Now, I know. When you mention a poly situation, a lot of women will say, oh, why can't I have 2 men? You can do whatever you want. But you don't want to make a sandwich for 1 man. What you going to do when you have 2 hungry men coming home? You don't want to bang 1 dude. You don't want to be sexually obligated. Sleeping with your husband is a part of your wife's duties. But your body, your choice, right? Fine. But you just said, why can't you have 2 dudes? You can. But what happens when you got to cook for 2 dudes and you got to clean for 2 dudes? What happens on Friday night? They come home and you got to handle your wife's duties. And I'm not saying it's a threesome every night. You got to go to his room and bang that out. And then when you're done, you got to get up and go take care of both your husband. Can you do that? That's what I'm saying. You might want to leave sex out of it. That's the last thing. That's just the cherry on the top, the sexual gratification. And trust me, let me tell y'all something. Sex is a lot better when you're ahead on your bills. Because a lot of you chicks got to give head to pay your bills. That's a ball. That's right, Shower. It's really not. Sister wives, it's really not about sex. It's really not. This is about survival. And because the black community didn't take care of their business, cost of living is going up. If you make $60,000 a year, I forgot what the average income for the black woman is. You make $50,000 a year and you work a full 25 years or whatever, and you retire, you're retiring on half of that. $25,000 a year, where you living? On $25,000 a year, where you living? But if you take that $25,000 a year when you retire, and your homegirl, when she retires, she's making $30,000 a year, and her husband, when he retires, you know, y'all put all that income together, y'all are living pretty well, aren't you? When one of y'all sick, someone's there to call the ambulance or whatever. You could rock out like that. And we're going to need to be doing that. Why? Because we didn't take care of business all these decades ago. Did I say anything about sex? Like I said, that's just what you goofing around, man. Could it be there? Yes. But you know what turns me on? It's October. And I said, man, if I stop working right now, my bills are paid literally for the next 4 months. I'm happy. The sex is going to be that much better. Do you understand what I'm saying? When you mention poly, women start jumping off roofs. What if I had 2 men? Yeah, exactly. What if you had 2 men? What would you do? These are the same chicks that don't want to make a plate of spaghetti. And this Chef Boyardee, it's out the goddamn can. Just put it in the damn plate, and you don't even want to do that. Oh, you ain't lying, Shower. You ain't lying. It does. Everybody, I ain't gonna say everybody. I don't know everybody's things, but when I was a young man figuring it out, living on my own for the first time, I'm like, damn. Do I go late with the rent or do I keep the lights on? I've been there, man. Like, damn, I'm trying to work out and how to, you got to figure stuff out. You got to figure it out. You get older, you get better at it. And I'm looking at this economy and I'm looking at the community in the economy. We have no leadership. We have no code of ethics. We have no economic structure. So we have no community. Because those are the requirements. We can't depend on each other. A handful of us can. But it's not enough. And we're only 13% of the population and we spend the most. How is this possible? How do we have 5,000 buckheads all around the United States? I don't get it, man. But y'all see what I'm talking about. I could preach the good word, but y'all do what y'all do. Yeah, Shower. We're gonna have to. But who do you trust? Tough Glove Boxer says it's easier to dogmatize the youth when there are no masculine men in the house. Feminine men in the house is a direct result of these women choosing Uncle Sam over their husbands. And they have raised these boys in their image. So there are a lot of feminine men out here. I deal with them every day. Every day. So yeah, because the man's role in the household has been diminished. They have systematically tricked Black women to remove us. Because for over 35 years, with the help of Oprah Winfrey, we had this stigma. We've been lied on. We were absent fathers. We were on drugs. We just weren't good people. But we're in the age of information. And what did we find out in the last 3 years? It was quite the opposite. When we did the facts, data, and statistics, we found out that men are more likely to be in the house, put their kids to bed, help them with homework. Everything that Oprah beat us in the head with, it was all a lie. And then she had to get online and say it before someone came for her. After building her empire on shitting on us. Y'all remember daytime talk shows? Sally Jesse Raphael, Oprah Winfrey, Ricky Lake. And they got the worst of the worst men on there. Black men in particular. We were affiliated with drugs, and then the gangster rap came out and all this stuff. It was all bullshit. And I'm like, man, that's not even a quarter of the men in my family. Now, I had some criminals there, but guess what? They're not invited to the family reunions. They're not invited to the cookout. I was surrounded by more Black excellence, male excellence, than the idiots. So how could this be? That can't only be my experience. And it turns out it wasn't. We were lied on. So when you say there's no masculine men in the house, where's that coming from? Where's that coming from? These women choose the losers. We speak about this all the time. For there to be a lot of ain't shit dudes out here in the street, a lot of these sisters end up pregnant. How could this be? What's the percentage of Black men that are single and childless? It's above 50%. Which means we've been more responsible with our penis. But you tell that to a sister today, how old are you? I'm 38 years old. You ain't got no kids? No. I've heard a sister on the talk show say, red flag. with her raked out eyelids and her golden weave, and she's dark skinned, the color of my hat right here, with a blonde wig on. And she said, that's a red flag. And he says, how's that a red flag? Because if you ain't got no kid and you're 38, they got to be something wrong with you. You got a kid? Yes. Where's the father? He around. Why you not married to him? Why I gotta marry him? See that? I wasn't raised that way. Man, woman, marriage, procreation. Now, all marriages don't work out. That's fine. But the effort was there. You see, we've gotten away from that. How did that happen? When the women chose Uncle Sam. They said, listen, we will feed you, right? Welfare, remember food stamps? We will provide housing for you, light, gas. We will also pay for you to go to school. That sounds great. One condition. Are you a single mom? Because you can't get this because if you have a man in the house, guess what? That means he could work. He could work. But if there's no man there, we're going to help you. You know what people are doing? James, go walk the street because those people are coming out today. And then you'll see an abundance of black men just walking the street. You know what's happening? And I know this for a fact because the elders would talk about this all the time, because you play the game to try and get public assistance, and he out all day. Those people come and investigate. Ain't no man living here. Okay, here's your food stamps and you can live here, whatever. And he'll sneak back in the house. But you know what was happening? Those black men be walking the street all day, just waiting, so the people will come and they'll congregate on the corner. Hey man, what's going on? Yo, you know what I'm doing, whatever. Here come the police. You can't stand here. Get on the wall. Who are you? What's your name? Now they ain't got no ID. It's really a crime to walk around and not being able to identify yourself, especially back then when you're black. Who are you? My name is Tony. You ain't got no ID. How do I know you're not a felon? You're coming downtown with me. You're coming downtown with me until we figure it out. He can't give his real identity. You know why? Because he's going to fuck up the bag given by Uncle Sam. You get what I'm saying? So it was a racket. And the women chose to try and get those free benefits. She lied to those people downtown. You get what I'm saying? No, I hear you, Tough Glove. I hear you, brother. I hear you. So what I'm telling you is that's the racket, because I remember hearing that as a kid. I used to hear my father and my uncles and their friends, they were working men, and they were talking about there's us doing this, and then their friends and their ladies trying to milk the system. And a lot of times it didn't work. I used to hear those conversations. It was amazing. I'm like, man. Yeah, exactly, Shawa. They initiated it. It was bad. But all of this, all the community had to do is say no thank you to that. No thank you. We don't need that. I got a man in the house, and he's going to find something to do. And then when we tell that story, you know what the women will do? They'll move the goalposts and say, oh, well, either he was drunk or he was cheating, or we had to do that, as if they were alive back then. We had to do that because James wasn't really doing anything. You don't know that. You see what I mean? So it was always an excuse. And when you saw the collapse of the black household, you saw the collapse of the community. And they have us right where they want us. Exactly, pinboy players, man. See, it's ass backwards. He got to be gay because he's 40 with no kids. No, he made correct choices. Look at his options. Everybody here, for majority of y'all, are on Instagram. I can't scroll with 2 thumb pushes without seeing some chick in a thong somewhere. Don't know how it's there. I'm like, I'm not following this chick or nothing. Why she walk around with her butt out? Scroll, scroll, scroll. There goes Lizzo clapping her ass. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Here goes another chick with a snatched waist walking on a beach with her butt out. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Oh, this one, her boobs are out. But meanwhile, I can't say this sucks. Let me read y'all something. Hold on. Actually, I'm gonna show y'all this. This really happened. I'm not kidding. I'm gonna show y'all this. This was absolutely enraging. And this is why I'm telling y'all the fix is in. For us, especially as black folk, I'm telling y'all the fix is in, and I'm gonna show y'all what I'm talking about. I'm gonna show you right now. Now, Pete, I was on a post. There was a woman beefing about something, and she's blaming men about something. And I go in there and I lab rat people. You know what I'm saying? Quiet storm, salute, man. Hell yeah. And I made a comment, and I wasn't disrespectful. And I'm gonna show you the comment. Instagram removed this comment off of that woman's post. She was in there going in on men. Going in. October 16th of 2024. I said, I'm happily married, been with my wife for 24 years. I've always had a hot meal, back rubs, beautiful children, and I provide for everyone in my household without question. I proposed to her. She said yes because she knew I was that dude. So I hope this woman in the video can say the same, probably not. My screen flickered about 2 minutes later, and it said this. Now, can you please explain to me, what in the actual ass did I say wrong? What did I say wrong? Tell me. Tell me. Go ahead. Did I say anything wrong? Did I say anything wrong? What did I say wrong? Because that chick was going in. She was mad disrespectful. And, you know, it was a chick with long eyelashes. The hair was off the head of some Indian baby. Right? And this is all I said. I said, well, you know, I don't know where she's finding these dudes at. Now, this is the same platform. They took that down. Removed my content because, what did they say? Because that was a small screenshot. Where's it at? It says it goes against our community guidelines on spam. Meanwhile, I just told y'all, I can't scroll anywhere on Instagram without some chick walking around with her butt out. That's spam. That's every day a different woman. And some of these chicks being see-through stuff, they may as well be. I saw this one chick where I saw the areolas and the pubes walking forward. And I'm like, but I can't say that. You know, I can't F-bomb. I can't S-bomb, F-bomb, nothing. But you got black woman walking around undressed. And I totally disagree with this woman. And I said this, and they removed my comment for spam. The world is a dick. It is. Guess what, Mr. Shelton? Every post you put up on YouTube, I can't comment. I tried it. For the last month, I can't comment on it. I press the comment and I say, why can't I? What the hell? I thought it was my phone. Nope. Can't comment on it. Why? Why? It's what they do to us. And all the people, the enemies and everything else, what they need to understand is what they do to us, eventually they'll do to you. That's why I laugh at all these LDBC haters. They always find each other and have this powwow about how messed up we are. You know what always happens? Eventually they fall out with one another. Always happens. Always happens. That's why I don't have to respond to everything. I'm over here. We're having a good conversation tonight. This is what we're doing. I'm not being vulgar. I'm pointing out the flaws in the community. If you're a black person, you should have seen value in everything that I said. That's why I don't have time to respond to the people that got to make 400 videos about me. It's creepy. It's feminine. It's feminine. The obsession with me, I don't get it. Or do I? Because I don't go back and forth and argue with people that don't like me. I don't go to their channel and, you know. I'm breaking down the play. And as black people, we are too segregated amongst ourselves to even form a united front against this bullshit. Black people should be so powerful. We shouldn't even be on YouTube arguing over the pennies they pay us and what they do to us. We should have our own network where we can do what we do. I'm being serious. But, you know, we'll never be a united front. And I've come to terms with that. I'm cool with the brothers here. And unfortunately, some brothers, it didn't work out. I prefer just to let it go and not go back and forth with them. If you don't like me for whatever reason, that's cool. And like I said, I'm not perfect, but it takes me a lot for me to respond, and it gets ridiculous. But what I'm saying is it shouldn't have to be like that. So what I talk about, what happens here, is a direct reflection to what happens in the black community. Do we have an economic structure? No. Do we have a code of ethics? Definitely not. Do we have a political leader? No. So we're done. Buddy up with the people that are on the same wavelength as you and see if you can grow. That's the only thing I can tell you. That's the only thing I can tell you, because the way things are, not confident. Tom Brown was just telling you, he was just cooking. And that was 1992, and everything he said came to fruition. He said there's going to be more women in the educational facilities. Yes. Learning, getting degrees. He was talking about how the middle class needs to give back to the poor and bring them up. And other than education, it depends on what kind of education we get. We need to get tangible skills so we can grow the community and have our own community where we don't have to look to the white man for jobs. We can do it for ourselves. Our own law enforcement, our own towns, our own architectural companies. We can do that. The money's there. With 13% of the population, back in 92, we was only 12. We still spent the most, and we have nothing to show for it. But when I talk about things like this, just put my name in your favorite haters search engine. I know some of y'all go there. I've always been on this type of time. Just go to their channel and say, put in Drew Titan and see how many hate videos they have of me. I don't know what I did to them. And they could tell you anything. But the real question is, why are you spending time on me when we have these problems? I just did a live stream the other day. I said, Tank Davis, once again, worried about the wrong ish. He is. He's worried about the wrong thing. And right now, all these hate videos of me and 78 and BF and the LD, Mr. Shelton and the LDBC, y'all worried about the wrong shit. Y'all worried about the wrong shit. We got problems here. And what you're doing is you're adding to the chaos. And it's organized confusion, which is why I do my best to ignore you guys, man. Because we got bigger things going on here. This is why I don't deal with Tank Davis. Because he's adding to the organized chaos. This is organized chaos. And it's a sad state of affairs. That's why I don't like that kid. I tell y'all guys all the time. Boxing is a direct reflection of life. What we deal with the LDBC on social media, in boxing itself, when I see black content creators behaving in that as such, calling us names and everything else, I don't see Latin channels doing that. I've done the research. I don't see Asian channels doing that. I've done the research. Don't see white channels doing that. I've done the research. Black American channels? Are you kidding me? And it's a direct reflection of why we are exactly where we are. We are where we deserve to be. Ain't the white man's fault. If I've built this, rewind this live and spin it from the beginning. If you're just catching this now. I built a whole building for y'all. I rarely respond because I'm better than that. Eric Jordan, he said, sis wants Miguel to save her. Miguel said, hell no.
¡Ay, Miguel! ¡Miguel!
It's crazy. International Quiet Storm, he says Cynthia G is back on YouTube, but Drew comment gets deleted for spam. She's back on YouTube? Unbelievable. The women legitimately said if you're pregnant with a black boy, delete the pregnancy. Meanwhile, because the bandits, the bandits, because we're bandits, right? She's not married, and she procreated with a bandit. That dude had like 2 other baby mamas or 3 other baby mamas, and she didn't get what she wanted from that relationship and got mad at the whole black male community, and then triggered a whole bunch of women that made just as bad or worse decisions she's made. She gets back on YouTube and I can't comment on my brother's videos. You see what I'm talking about? But if we had our own, we wouldn't even be here worried about it. Like, man, get out of here. Get out of here. And this is why I'm starting a Patreon. Because soon, YouTube ain't gonna allow us being black and talking like this. I promise you. I promise you. They're not. They're not going to allow us to do it. I promise you they're not. They're not going to allow us to do it. Exactly. They want black dysfunction. That's why Cynthia G's back. I believe they're going to let back eventually Fresh and Fit. They'll be back. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. Quiet Storm, that's a whole other thing. This ain't the place for us. Soon, these conversations on Pep Talk, you're going to have to come check me on Patreon. Y'all, you know, you guys run behind these LDBC haters talking about I'm a free thinker. Why do they pay dues? Why do we pay dues? But y'all got memberships, right? Amazing, man. I'm going to tell all my members, yo, don't pay no memberships on Pep Talk or on Drew Titan LLC. Take that couple of dollars and send it to my Patreon. Because right here on YouTube, they don't respect us anyway. They don't send out notifications. I can't comment on on my brother's posts or nothing. They shadow ban us, and they say they don't. We have proof that they do. They blocked our brother. You saw him earlier in here, Cortez Bowles. I did a short. I said, I didn't block this dude. He was a wrench. He had to cash at me $1 or email me or something that said, I'm blocked on your channel. I said, what? And I had to go and find him. And while I was trying to go to his channel and unblock him, I had to screen record it. I'm pressing unblock. You know what it felt like? When I'm trying to comment on Mr. Shelton's video. I'm hitting comment. It's not coming up. So I'm trying to unblock. It says unhide on Cortez Bowles. It just wasn't doing it. I had to come home and get on my desktop and go pull him out of the trash. It was ugly. It was ugly. Why'd they do that? Nobody blocked him. He was a wrench. They did it to him. They did it to they took somebody's wrench and I couldn't give it back to him. I'm pressing the wrench button. His name wasn't turning blue. It was crazy. And I'm contacting YouTube and said, these things are happening. We don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Y'all remember when I was going off on Ryan Garcia on that pop-up live and they stopped my live? I said, what, I got a strike? I wasn't cursing. Nope, I started a whole new live, but I had like 500 people in my chat that night. So who stopped it? And I'm contacting them and I said, they was like, oh, well, you know, it was in violation of community standards. I said, okay, so where's my strike? Oh, I don't know. So then you took down one live and I said I was airing on both my platforms. What happened to the other one? They don't know. So then they put the live back. And it said great news is available for full monetization. Because I questioned it. And that's where the Miguel came from. Two things. I know the person doing this is Latin. Because they only act funky when I'm talking about Ryan or Canelo. So I know the person's Latin. And when I say, yo, they got a little sugar in their tank, they start goofing around. So I'm letting y'all know right now, they do it the champ side too. Yep. They blocked Tay from Blue Blood's channel. All of this stuff. They took her wrench and blocked her. He couldn't find her for like a year. It was crazy. So when they tell you they don't do stuff, yeah, they remove comments. So when I tell y'all, see, if we had a proper economic structure, that's one of these things that we wouldn't have to worry about. But whatever. You want to know how I know the power structure is real? How many millionaires do we have? Rappers, R&B singers, pro athletes in all sports. You think it costs that much to get the pipes fixed in Flint, Michigan? I understand it don't cost that much. Somebody's telling people, yo, stay out of that, don't fix that. That's there for a reason. See what I mean? So they're out there doing this stuff, but we need to take our power back. That's why I'm telling y'all. I'm gonna tell all my members, take your membership, and when I start my Patreon, please, Cobra Head salute. Stop the memberships on YouTube, because you know what? They're taking money from that too. And just become, because let me tell you what the membership is, and salute to Eric Jordan back in that super chat. He said Miguel did it, funkin' sellout, monkey, gorilla, raccoon. Exactly, that's what he is. Well, he's not even that. I ain't want to say it, but you know what? Here's the deal. Oh yeah, hand dog. So of course, yeah, you already know what it is. Here's the deal. When the time comes, I'm going to tell all my members, whatever money you're paying for my membership, roll it over to the Patreon. Because in the Patreon, in the membership, we can make things members only so that only you can see it. And everybody else, if you're not a member, you won't see it. And I have to find time to do content for that. On Patreon, I could loose lip. I could play music that I want. They ain't gonna bother me. And the same members that are paying here, YouTube, let's say if you're paying $5 for a month for a membership, I'm really getting like $3 and some change, because YouTube takes 30 cents off of every dollar. Did you know that? So if you get a $1 super chat, you're really getting 70 cents. And there's a lot of channels that get a lot of super chats, and they still treat them like shit. So when I get my Patreon up and running, I'm gonna let my members know. Cease and desist with the memberships on YouTube and roll that over to the Patreon. Because there's gonna be certain things that I'm gonna start saying that I cannot say here. And one of the things that I'm putting up there is my Tank Davis video. And it's to clown, but there's a lot of things that I've done some research on, and I said, holy crap, I was playing at first, now not so much. There's a lot of things that I've seen like, oh my God. And I'm making the video and I'm like, you know what? I cannot put this on YouTube. And I'm not even being belligerent. There's just things that I'm seeing. And I said, if I put this up here, oh, no. Nope. So if you want Drew Titan raw and uncut, soon you're gonna have I'm still gonna do pep talk here. Do you want it raw and uncut? Patreon. And I'm gonna tell all my members, because we're gonna stop giving these goons money. Then they don't respect us. They can't even send out a damn notification, and then they lie about it. They're gonna stop my live stream just so that 200 people could leave it. And I was cooking on Ryan, all facts. And because Miguel didn't like it, he said, let me just zap it. Boom. And I said, well, if you zap me, where's my strike? And then one time they gave me a strike, and I said, okay, well, the same video is running on Pep Talk. You ain't strike that? I see. Requirements of a community. So all these people saying, I'm my own man. Your ass is still on YouTube. Doing what? The same thing we all doing. You're not your own man. Shut up. You're a goddamn hater. You're a threat to tolerance, man. Light eye salute, man. I'm gonna tell all my members, just go to Patreon, cancel your membership here and on Pep Talk, and take your ass to Patreon. That's where you do it. If you want to support me, that's where you do it. That's what BFTB did. That's what Stormy did. And this is how you take the power back. You see, it's called economic power. And if black content creators who feel slated do that in abundance, it's going to affect their bottom line, and they're going to have to tweak what they do. Hit them in the pockets. That's how you do it. That's how you generate compliance. And why is it that everybody else understands that but us? But I ain't going to talk your head off. It's crazy, man. Crazy. But I got to get up in the morning and talk this boxing. I got a big day ahead of me. Salute to everybody in the Venmo, the Zelle, the Cash App, the Super Chat. I love my people to a fault, man. And the people that dislike me and talk about me, I can't stop you from doing that. But y'all not changing. Some of y'all are my age, maybe older. Y'all not changing. So while I'm doing my content, you do whatever it is you want to do. A lot of you have problems. A lot of you have height problems, penis envy. Some of you cats got bigger channels than me and just can't stand. You're not counting your own blessings. You're worried about me too much. And it grinds your gears that I'm not worried about you. And for those of you that dip and dab on those other channels, you're following these people and you don't know these people like how I know them. A lot of these guys are on medication. I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. A lot of these guys are on medication or they need medication. You know, they got all kinds of things going on with them. They have serious character flaws, but if you're in that sort of thing, I can't tell you what to do. You know, it is what it is.
Good night.
Salute to y'all, man. I'll see y'all in the AM, man. Y'all take it gently.